Welcome, ladies and gents, to the Museum of the 1920s. Come with me and let me give you a tour. Pick an option, somewhere right here, and we'll start from there. Great! You picked World War I. Let's go ahead and go into that room. Whoa, here we are in the World War I room. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about World War I. World War I lasted from 1914 to 1918. It was a really big war between many countries like Britain, France, Germany, and us, the United States. It started after a leader named Archduke Franz Ferdinand was killed. Soldiers fought in deep ditches called trenches to stay safe from enemy attacks. New weapons like machine guns and poison gas made the war very, very dangerous. Airplanes and seaplanes were used to watch enemies and attack from above. The war ended in 1918 when Germany gave up, and a peace agreement called the Treaty of Versailles was made in 1919. This war changed the world in many, many ways. Now, pick another option to explore. Great! You picked seaplanes. Let's go ahead and go to seaplanes. Oh, look at the seaplane. Isn't it cool? Okay, let me tell you more information about where seaplanes came from and stuff like that. Seaplanes, also called hydroavians, were invented in the early 1900s and became important during World War I. These planes could take off and land on water, making them useful for the war. The French Navy used these planes because they were strategic play. It helped the Entente powers, Britain, France, and their allies, by protecting their coasts and gathering important information. After the war, seaplanes became even more popular in the 1920s. People used them for travel, delivering mail, and exploring places all over the world. Was that interesting? Well, I have more, so pick another option right here. Great! You picked penicillin. Here we are in the penicillin room. Penicillin was discovered by accident in 1928 by a scientist named Alexander Fleming. He found that a mold on a petri dish killed the bacteria around it, and that mold turned out to be penicillin, which was a medicine that could fight infections. Even though it was discovered in 1928, it wasn't widely used or was famous until the late 1930s. After that, it helped save many lives by treating infections that used to be very dangerous, by the way. It became one of the most important medical discoveries ever. Now, pick another option. Great! You picked the Great Migration. Let's go ahead and go to that room. Whoa, I guess we're in that room now. Okay, during Prohibition in the 1920s, alcohol was banned in the United States, but there was still a strong demand for it. Did you know that? Many African Americans moved from the South to northern cities like Chicago, New York, and Detroit, and what became known as the Great Migration is because all these African Americans were moving to all over the United States. They found jobs in factories, restaurants, and speakeasies. The high demand for alcohol helped many African Americans find work and build better for the North. This period also allowed African American culture, especially music and art, to grow and become more popular. Now, I know I am talking fast, but we gotta get through this. Go ahead and pick another option. Great, you picked the Harlem Renaissance. This one's gonna be interesting. See you there. Whoa, we're in the Harlem Renaissance right now. Well, the room. Look at all these pictures, aren't they cool? Wow. Anyways, the Harlem Renaissance was a cultural movement that took place in the 1920s, mostly in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. It was a time for when African American artists, musicians, and performers became widely recognized for their talent. People like Langston Hughes, a famous poet, and Zora Neale Hurston, a well-known author, helped bring African American culture into the spotlight. with their works. Jazz music, popularized by artists like Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong, also became a major part of the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance helped change how people viewed African American culture, making it more respectable and celebrated across the United States. Now, I know you might be wondering, what are all these poems? What are all these music? Show me some pieces of art. So, behind me, you're gonna see the pieces of art that were created in the Harlem Renaissance. But right now, in 5 seconds, you're gonna hear some real music from the Harlem Renaissance.
Hello, Dolly. This is Louis.
Now that's some good music. Wait, we gotta go to the next one. Let's go! But wait, hey, I got you there. We have to pick another option. Pick it. Great, you picked the women's suffrage movement. Let's go ahead and go there. Whoa, that was really, I don't know how I even did that. But here we are. There's some pictures right here of the women's suffrage movement. The women's suffrage movement was a fight by women to get the right to vote. During World War I, now we're tracing back to the first room we went to, the movement gained a lot of movement because when men went to fight in the war, women took their jobs that were often held by men. Now, in the 1920s, many countries, including the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Turkey, allowed women the right to vote. In the United States, the 19th Amendment, passed in 1920, gave women the right to vote in national elections. Other countries passed similar laws around this time, and some did also before the 1920s, while others did it after the 1930s. That was really far. This movement was a big step for women's rights and helped women gain more equality in society. Now that was a lot of words. Sources will be included in the URL below. Thank you for visiting on my tour. And if you did not get anything, I will give you a test, and if you score a 0 on it, womp womp. See you in the next one. Bye.